we don't celebrate New Year's Eve, so I don't know how many people are going to be around. But hey, I'll either put this out tonight or save it for another night. But I found this video and I found it very interesting because there's a few people who actually should watch this and recognize themselves within it. Whether they do or not is completely ambiguous. I don't know, but yeah, I found this more than interesting. So let's get started.
How connected and, lack of a better word, addicted we are to our phones. So I thought that let's do it. Let's find out a little bit about it. And in going through the material and learning about it, what I found was that social media internet addiction, that it is estimated at a third of college-aged individuals. And that's where most of the studies have been. They focused on college-age students. And college age is usually from 18 to 22. And there's also a book out. It's called iGen. I'll put the picture up here, what it looks like. And I've read this book, and it's really, really fascinating and very interesting. And the iGen was the iGeneration. And that is those that have been born 1995 forward. If you have a kid who was born after 1995, this is a really good book. It really illuminated a lot of stuff about my clients that I just assumed they lumped them all in with millennials. But it's a very different group, and it's they're growing up with so much more technology and information and resources. And how is that impacting them? But let's also talk about adults. How is it impacting you?
So up to now, he's just generally talking about internet and iGen and different ages of children, I guess, who get totally addicted to try that one, see if that's any better. Totally addicted to social media, text messaging. I mean, if you see any teenager now of I don't know, the age of 15 or 16, 17 and 18, they are like literally glued to their phones. I mean, their phone is their life. They wouldn't dream of leaving the house or going from one room to another without taking their phone with them. That to me is an addiction. But then again, you've got to look at it from the other side, that that social media is now part of everyday life for everyone. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are millions of people who do not entertain social media whatsoever. They don't go on it, they don't want to know about it. And there are millions of people in this country who don't even have the internet. I mean, it's hard to believe, but yes, there are. There are people who refuse to have the internet and wouldn't know what it was like to go online and stick to what they've always been used to. But I have to say that, especially for teenagers, I don't know if it's an addiction or if it's part of their life now. They don't know any different, you see. Whereas people over the age of people who are let me get the age right here, 30 and upwards, will remember a time when there was no phones and blah blah blah. Now, so they can remember that time. And if people over 30 and upwards are running around carrying their phones with them and everything, I'd say that's a bit of an addiction. But below that, I would say that they don't know any different, because from when they've been born onwards, mummy and daddy have always been sitting with this phone in their hands. So it follows that they're going to sit with phones, and their friends have phones. Everybody is on a phone doing something. So I don't know if today you could call it an addiction. It's part of life. We don't question TV, right? And that is because it's part of our life from the day we are born. You know, mum is holding you as a baby while she's sitting watching the television. And then you get to 2, 3, mum and dad are sitting watching the television. You start watching the television. It then becomes part of your everyday life. So I'm not so sure that the individuals he's talking about with iGen are addicted, or it's just part of their everyday life, that because it's what everybody else they know does. So I struggle with that a little bit, because when you've been born and you don't know anything else, you couldn't imagine life without a handheld phone that tells you everything, that sings and dances and whistles at you and everything else. Is it fair to call it an addiction, or is it just part of life?
You, how's it impacting me? And that's what we're going to talk about. And so the question is, what happens when we base who we are on likes, hearts, views, and other sort of social media and internet rewards? Well, the research actually shows that we become more unhappy and disillusioned, right, with who we are and the world around us. But we also become addicted. So we lose a sense of who we are, and we become addicted to these likes and views and all these other things that we want to check. And also we'll talk about text messaging and
Now, the likes and view things. Certainly, I'd agree with that. That's why I've never ever, and I never will, ask people to like up the stream. Right? They either do or they don't. It's not something that particularly worries me, simply because I don't want to go down that path of getting addicted and insisting that people like the stream so that the algorithms can boost up my channel, or whatever it is. I don't want to be going down that and watching the analytics and thinking, oh, right, so I don't know, last night's stream or the stream I did 3 months ago, well, that wasn't as popular as the stream. Do you see what I mean? I try not to go down that. And if people want to like my stream or channel, well, they can. If they don't want to, but they don't need to. It's not something I personally want to go down. It's like with Facebook, I was never one. If I put a post on Facebook, I never even looked to see if anyone liked it or didn't like it. A thumbs down or whatever the hell it is they do now. Never bothered. Didn't care. Yeah, if people commented again, I'd comment back. But if no one comment again, I didn't care. I've never been like that. I didn't. It's like I refused from the very beginning and on the onset of all this social media thing to go down that. In fact, I used to wonder what certain people were talking about when they'd say, "I've got so many likes on a photograph or something." I think, what are they talking about? What likes? What's a like? Because I've never even bothered to really look at under, on Facebook where you've got like, and I don't even know what's after that. I hadn't even bothered to look at that. or explore that and see what it was all about. I still wouldn't bother. I refuse to get into that because I can imagine, right? I can imagine that you can get very addicted to all of that. And you say you put okay, so you're on Facebook and you put something up and you think it's really good, and a picture of you with something else, I don't know, and you think it's great, and you expect your friends are all going to like it and comment and blah, and they don't. Yeah, and they don't. They they just don't comment for some reason. You know, I have seen people who get down about that, who will get moody about that, and it will spoil their whole day until they get the amount of likes or comments that they actually want, that makes them feel verified, that makes them feel like they're worth something, when in fact, you know, Facebook it's a lie book to me. When you know, well, we've all done it, when we've looked at our friends' Facebook and they put something on there and you're thinking, hang on, your life isn't that great. Why have you just wrote that? Why are you fibbing? And you don't say anything, you just leave it, right? Because Facebook is a lie book. Most people on Facebook, they put out the good times, right, for whatever reason. But then I also call it the new obituary book, where before, years and years ago, if someone died, you know, it'd be in the obituaries of the newspaper. Not anymore. The new place to put it is Facebook. You know, if somebody dies, the place to put it's on Facebook. And to me, I don't like that. So that's why I call it obituary book. And I literally experienced that yesterday, which is partly why I'm doing this. I saw that my niece had, well, let me start at the beginning. All over the holidays kind of thing, I'd had this feeling, this really gut-wrenching feeling that something bad was going to happen. I didn't know whether it was to myself or who it was. It was just, again, it was just one of my feelings, right? Now, my niece dropped a post yesterday, and it just came up on my phone. So and so had, you know, posted a new post or whatever, right? Now, normally I'd have seen that pop up on my phone. I wouldn't have even bothered to go and check what it was she posted. But I remember I looked at it, and my first thought was, "Oh, right, oh, okay. I don't think I'm going to like what she's put here." Um, so I go straight onto Facebook, something I don't normally do. I click on her name, so it comes up, and I can read the first sentence, right? And why she did this, it's beyond me. But anyway, and it said, to whoever knows my family, full stop, my, and I couldn't see anything else after that, right? But I knew that when I clicked on more, that something bad was going to be following. I just knew it. I had that thing I've got that just tells me, and it was like I'd been waiting for it to happen, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know what, you, you know, it's just these feelings, and I get, and they're never wrong, but they're not helpful neither. They're not helpful at all. So I clicked on more, and lo and behold, there it was. She was announcing the death of her father, my brother, on Facebook. So, you know, the last 24 hours haven't been that great. and I've been pretty angry that she did that. So yeah, I'm just going to put that to one side. But yes, that's how I found out that my brother had passed away yesterday. And I was so disgusted in the way she. And then I thought, and then all I could think of was, so that's what I've been waiting for the last 2 weeks. I just could not shake this feeling that something was going to come from somewhere, something bad. Whatever it was going to be, it was not going to be good. And my reaction when I read it was one of shock, obviously, and then one of anger that she'd done that. Yeah, she's in a certain age group, but hey, oh, the family didn't even know, and you put it on there. What the hell was that about? So yeah, I've had some cross words about that. I don't think I'll ever speak to her again, to be quite honest, because of the way it was done. I totally disagree, and it was just wrong. But that's by the by. That's just me, showing how addictive Facebook can be. That she actually thought that would be a good thing to do because of the age group she's in, and that to me was pathetic, stupid, unconscionable, disgusting, and every other word I can lay my bloody tongue to be quite honest. But let's get on with the video.
Things like that, because I think that's really important, because a lot of my clients, when they send a text, it becomes an anxiety provoking experience. When they're going to respond, and it becomes expectation, a very intense expectation. A lot of my folks that are on the narcissistic spectrum as well as the borderline spectrum, that when they send a text or an email, they expect this immediate response, and sometimes they forget that the person on the other side could be stuck in traffic. That the battery of the person who they're writing.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but with me, with text messages, the only time I want an immediate response is if something is wrong, if something hasn't gone right, if it's important. But if it's just an ordinary text message from whoever I'm sending to somebody, I do not expect an immediate response. I don't know about you guys, but if it's something important that I need to either talk about or know about, I do tend to think, well, they've got to respond to this immediately. So yeah, I'm guilty of that if it's about an important matter. Not an everyday matter, just if it's important, I expect that they like me, will text straight back, because, well, it's so important to me, whereas it might not be so important to them. And yeah, I do think that maybe a lot of us are guilty of that one. Yeah.
Maybe the battery's not working, the service is bad. There's 100 other things that it could be, other than they see it and it's like, that's such and such, forget it. And I think it's really important. We work a lot on that when you put it out there, sort of imagining that you're putting a letter on a stream and you let it go. And that's really difficult for a lot of folks to do. But what about the addiction component? Well, let's talk about the addiction component. Now, there is a research study by a guy named Griffiths, and he was in the UK. And what he did is he defined these components of addiction, and they include salience, mood modification, tolerance, withdrawal, conflict, and relapse. And we'll go through each of those now, so you can get a sense of what they are. And as we go through it, I want you to ask yourself, do I have this addiction to my phone? Do I have this addiction to sending a text out? Or do I have having to check social media? But you could even go a little further. And you could say, do I have these same sensations to someone else? Maybe even those videos about social media, and internet addiction. Sometimes we get addicted to people too. So just something to consider and something to explore. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about salience first. Salience. Now, this is when a particular activity becomes the most important activity in the person's life and dominates their thinking. So it's preoccupations and cognitive distortions, feelings such as cravings and behavior. It's a deterioration of socialized behavior. So what happens is that when you're sending out this text, or when you're putting out a post or an Instagram picture, something like that, you have to see what the response is. You're constantly wondering, or are people responding? Are people clicking it? Are they liking it? Are they?
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was just talking about. I literally know people who it can really spoil everything about their day if they do not get the response that they need to feed their addiction from a post, from a picture, from anything. And I kind of understand it, but then I always say, just put your phone down. Doesn't matter why you bothered about who likes it, who's seen it, who hasn't commented, and all the rest of it. But you can't get through to these people. These people must have these views, likes, and everything else that goes. It is an addiction, and for some, it gets that bad that they do need psychiatric help with it, because it can drive them into great depths of depression, because they don't feel important. They don't feel that they're progressing. They don't feel that people are interested in them. And remember, this is all because of something they put on social media. It's not because anything to do in their day-to-day life. It's just about something they happen to have put on social media. And I think the worst one that people get addicted to are things like Instagram, Twitter, yeah, those kind of platforms. People get very addicted to them. Oh, as so and so reposted, somebody hasn't shared, and things like, other many things people will moan about, and I just sit looking at them and think, well, why do you need someone to repost or share something you've put on Instagram or Twitter? What's that all about then? Uh, I don't get that. But then again, with me not being addicted to it, why should I understand it? I've got no need to understand it. But I think for anyone who gets that addicted, that their mood gets lower, their whole world seems to cave in around them, I think those people need to seek professional help. Because once it becomes an addiction, it's not that easy to wean yourself off it. It's like any addiction.
They seeing it? Are they noticing it? Are they seeing it? And we internalize that, and we base who we are on that. And that's where the really problem comes when we're talking about salience. This thinking, this perception becomes so intense that it consumes your thoughts. And is it being perceived? Who is seeing it? Who is clicking on it? And then when people click on it, then do you go in and see who clicked on it? And do you get upset at the ones who didn't? The ones who did, oh, I can't believe that Pam didn't click on it. I can't believe that Paul didn't click on it. Okay. So it becomes that issue, becomes this overwhelming issue. Now, the next component is mood modification. Now, mood modification, this is the subjective experience that people report as a consequence of engaging in the particular activity. So they experience an arousing buzz or a high, or paradoxically, a tranquilizing and or distressing feeling of escape or numbing. Now, this, for a lot of folks, I think on the borderline spectrum, that they experience this, and that is that this mood modification. But once they get that gratification, sometimes they get this tranquilized type of feeling where it's like you've been washed clean, like all that stress has been washed off of you. For narcissistic folks, they get this internal sense of, yep. And it gives them that sense of validation of who they are and that they're noticed in the world. So it's really important to recognize that. Now that buzz is that, of course, that hit of dopamine, and that's what keeps us going back to it. That's what keeps driving us to it. Is that when we don't like, are they responding? Oh my God, I've had 20 likes, 200 likes, 400 likes, 4,000 likes, views, whatever it is. And when you get that, that's that dopamine hit that you have more and more and more, and that drives you to continue to check your phone, to check that social media, to check it and check it and check it. So it becomes this cycle. Okay? Next is tolerance. Now, tolerance, this is the process whereby increasing amounts of the particular activity are required to achieve the former effects. Now, tolerance as it relates to social media and your phone, which is that just checking it once isn't enough. Is that maybe you check it, right? You put it down, and then you're watching a TV.
So many of you, come on, many of you must have like posted something or done something. So you keep checking it. And I'd say about 10 years ago, I think people were doing it more 10 years ago than they actually do today. But then the younger generation, I think they just check it constantly anyway, because they think it's a thing to do. As I said, I think the younger generation, it's more like they don't know any different. That's the way they are. I mean, you have to remember when people like me and people a little bit younger than me, when you changed schools or left college, that was it. The communication with said friends, you had to work at it because you didn't have a phone where you could constantly be ringing friends, a handheld phone, or texting a friend, or this, that, the other. So you had to work at that friendship. These days, when children or older kids leave college, university, or school and go to a different school, university, or college, they more or less take their friends they've made with them in their phone. And that's why there isn't this vacuum in their lives of lost friends, if you like, because they take them with them in their phone wherever they go, whatever they do in their lives. And I think that way, friendships, if you like, it's better for them because they never lose touch really with the friends they've made from I don't know, say senior school, secondary school, college and university. They're not going to lose friendships that way. They're always going to have that person as a friend. Where it was different for us, you left and you got on with your life, and if you bumped into that person again a few years later, well, you did, and if you didn't, well, you didn't. You never really went looking for them, not unless they were a very close friend, of course. So for me, yeah, that way, I think the communication part of a phone and the internet is good for the younger generation that way. And that's why I think a lot of them constantly check their phones, text messaging and everything else, because they don't know any different. They just don't.
Show, and you're sitting there, you're like, oh, I got to check it again. And that's not enough. So you have to keep checking it, to kind of get that, like that mood modification component. These are not mutually exclusive. A lot of times these different aspects that we're talking about, they're interrelated. Okay. So that tolerance, that it's that you need more to get that effect in your brain, that sense of salience, that sense of mood modification, that sense of, okay, everything's okay. And you need more of that and more of that. And that's part of that drive back to that social media and the hearts and the likes and all of the views and all of that stuff. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about, this is the withdrawal symptoms. Now, withdrawal symptoms, these are the unpleasant feeling states and or physical effects which occur when the particular activity is discontinued or suddenly reduced. Now, withdrawal effects can be psychological. This can be like moodiness and irritability, or more physiological. This can cause nausea, sweats, headaches, insomnia, and other stress-related reaction. Withdrawal symptoms, for example, could be that you turn your phone off and you're like, all right, I'm not going to look at it for an hour. And you become very, very, very anxious, very, well, what if he wrote back? What if she didn't? What if you send it?
Okay, so let's look at this. Let's unpack this. So, okay, how do we feel when, say, the internet goes down? So you're at home, you're online, or you're just doing something on the internet and internet goes down, right, for some reason. So after an hour, yeah, you're pretty all right with it. Yeah. 2 hours later, it still hasn't come back up. Again, so you've rang your internet provider and they give you the good news that, well, we are sorry, it's going to be down for 24 hours. So 2 hours into that, you're sitting and think, well, this is not too bad. It's on the internet. And as you're looking around your family members, you can see them all getting irritated because they're looking at their phones, they're on their iPads, and nothing. And then the next morning, everyone wakes up, and the first thing everyone does is to check if the internet's back on again. And it's not. So you get moody people at the breakfast table, constantly looking at their phone to see if the internet's back on. And it depends which network you're with. So if you've got, like, in a household, if you're with Sky, even with your phone, right? It's and your phone's still up, the amount of family members who want to borrow your phone so they can log in, right? Because they're all on, let's think of another provider, I don't know, a BT or whatever, right? They're all on that, and that's all gone down, and you're the only one that's got an internet on your phone. They will all want to borrow your phone so they can do something that they can't do because the internet's down. So you'll have like 4 or 5 family members wanting to use one person's phone, right? And that person starts to get pretty pissed off after a while. So then you're 24 hours in, and people are starting to get edgy and moody because they can't get online. They can't see what's going on online. It's hard for them to keep up with what's going on. They call their friends on their phone, but that still doesn't give them what they want. They want their own internet access back, right? And I've literally witnessed this with my own eyes, and their mood goes right down. They go to the separate rooms, they'll go and play their own PlayStations and Xboxes, not online, just like the old-fashioned way, right? And they shout downstairs, is the internet back on yet? No. All right. And on it goes, and the longer it goes on, the moodier these people get. Then they will start to say things like, swap internet providers. This is not good enough. Swap internet providers. Had enough of these lot. Right. 48 hours in, all of a sudden, and it's like instant. 48 hours. So it's been down 48 hours, right? And the grumpiness and moodiness and insistence that you've got to swap internet providers because, well, this is just not good enough. And why should we have to do without the internet? What the hell are they doing? And all the rest of it. And then instantly the internet's back up. And all of a sudden everyone's mood just lifts. All of a sudden it lifts. Oh, right. Internet's back on, right? All back on phones, iPads, and everything else. Happy days. It's like instant. There's no gradual, oh, right, it's back on, I'll go back on there in a minute. It's like everyone's dancing around, the internet's back on, great. So yeah, I kind of get that. I understand that. Let's see what else he's got to say.
Text. And then you go into a movie and you're watching the movie, but you're like, well, did he write? Did she write? Did she see it? Did they like it? Did they heart it? Or you post something like on Instagram, and that's something that's really important to you. And you're like, I really want everybody to see it. This is something that I built myself up and I made this statement and I put it out there and I want everybody to see it. And I think I'm going to get 100 hearts or all this feedback and all this other stuff. So you want to check it. You want to check it. So you don't though, because you put it down for whatever reason. And you start to get this sense of tension and frustration and agitation. Those are withdrawal symptoms. Those are withdrawal symptoms associated with you not accessing that stimuli, which is your phone, which is that social media. Now, the next one we're going to talk about, these are conflicts. Conflicts are between the addicted individual and those around them. This could be interpersonal conflicts or from within the individual themselves, intrapsychic conflicts, right, which are concerned with the particular activity. Now, we talk about conflicts, right? Let's talk about your kids. Let's talk about your significant other. Let's talk about when you go to dinner and you want to talk to your significant other and they are on the phone. They are focused on the phone, and the phone or the social media causes conflict. A lot of my
Now, I know exactly what he's talking about, and I'm sure all of you people listening will know exactly what he's talking about also. So I experienced this when I first experienced it. Yeah, I got angry, and I said, "Well, can you all just put your phones down? We're not here just for you lot to be sat with heads down looking at your phones, right?" Now, today, I don't say nothing. I just think, get on with it. Because I don't see why I should get angry because they're looking at a phone. I refuse to do so. But I kind of I do understand that people do, especially if you're going out for a meal and you're going to say you're going out with a few family members and you sat at the table and there's, I don't know, 7 or 8 of you sat at the table. And one person decides to get his phone out and check the football results, right? And someone will say, so what are you looking at on your phone? I'm checking the football results. So the other one will go, oh, right, hang on, I just want to check cricket. And then someone will say, oh, I just need to check, see if so-and-so's commented on my last post on Instagram or Facebook. And before you know it, everyone's checking on something on the internet. Now, it only takes a second to check something, you think. But once that phone comes out of the handbag or the pocket, right, that's it. It's out for good. And the meal will arrive. They put the phone down, eat their meal. Then as soon as they get their meal, pick the phone up again. Now you can either choose, if you were like me and you didn't do that, you could either choose to get angry or you could choose to just ignore it. And I got angry once. And after that, I thought, well, why bother? You know, if that's what they want to do, let them do it. I can entertain myself. I think that's just my personality. That's just the way I am. And it doesn't happen anymore, you know. And before I know it, they've all put their bloody phones down and they're not looking at them. And I'll say, oh, you're not looking at your phone then? You're not, what, nothing going on the internet there? And they go, no, no. But anyway, we're out. We don't want to look at our phones. So it's amazing that can be the turnaround. But I also completely understand what this guy's saying about getting angry when you're out and all people are doing is look. But then if you're sat out for a meal and if you look over at the another table where there's people, you can guarantee that they're sat doing exactly the same thing. Yeah. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna have to go on. Yeah.
about your social media related to your social media, the different postings and who they're friends with and liking and connecting with and all that other stuff. That's a lot of conflict in the relationship, a lot of conflict with their kids and with their family and all this other stuff, and has created all of these problems. So conflict is another. Are you having conflicts about your social media related to your phone use? That is another indicator of addiction. It's causing these interpersonal problems, these types of issues that is preventing you from taking care of yourself and doing the things you need to do, which is attending to the person whom you're at the table with, whom you're going to lunch with, whom you're coming home to, whom you're spending your time with. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about, this is relapse. And relapse it's the tendency for repeated regression to earlier patterns of the particular activity. Patterns typical of the height of the addiction to be quickly restored after a period of time of abstinence or control. Now, what we're talking about here is so you've got yourself on a schedule. We're going to talk about that at the end, about getting yourself on a schedule, about creating some distance between social media and your phone, and creating a greater sense of who you are, getting a sense of by interacting with folks, about face-to-face contact, about not being dependent on likes and views, and growing that. And that
Well, I tend to disagree a bit about this because I don't know whether this guy realizes that, as I've been saying all the way through this, that there is a generation now that know no different. It's what they all they know. So can you really say it's an addiction with them? And then I know that after the iGen generation, like older people like me and people like, I don't know, 10, maybe 10 younger than me, we tend not to get so addicted. But there are people who are addicted. I mean, Jupiter is one. She's very addicted. I don't know what she would do without her phone or her laptop for a week. I think you would tend to see the aggression, the irritability, and the sweats and everything else with her, because she is absolutely addicted. I mean, I think most of us know this. The plastic Irish woman, she's another one. You can tell she's absolutely addicted. There's no way she could walk away for a week and not come online. It just wouldn't happen with her. And there's many others like Jedi. He's another one, addicted. But are they addicted for views and likes? These people I've just mentioned, or are they addicted because they like to think that people are listening to them and their opinion? Are they addicted to the amount of views they get and the amount of subscribers they get? Are they forever checking how many subscribers they've got? Are they always checking how many views they've got? All of that goes into it. But the biggest one that's definitely without a doubt in the age group that I'm talking about that is addicted is a Jupiter. Without a doubt, there's no one comes closer than her. But for the younger ones, I struggle a little bit because it's all they've known. And is that really an addiction, or is it just the fact that that's all they've known and they would be looked upon as the odd one if they didn't have a phone? If they did, they wouldn't be, and you've got to be so careful with teenagers because they don't like to be the odd one kind of thing. But then the downside to that is the bullying happens, and the bullying, unfortunately, when a child that gets bullied at school, it used to end at school, but these days it carries on at home through social media. I'd say a 14-year-old. I mean, just recently, my son, I don't know, I might have mentioned this before, but he's got a friend who he worked with, and his friend's son, who's only 14, was only 14, sorry, killed himself because of the bullying that was happening on social media at home. It was happening at school, and then when he was leaving school, it was happening at home too. So there's lots of downsides to all of this, but there's also a lot of pluses for young people, for all of this. I don't think young people feel, I don't know, I'm just not convinced that the younger generation, if you like, that it's fair to call it an addiction. I, I don't feel that's right.
Relapses, and when it pulls you back, you get that immediate sense of, whew, right? And you get that sense of, okay. So it's that pattern, it's that falling back into that addictive pattern once you've had a period of abstinence or period of sobriety or control over that social media. Now, research shows that addictive social media use, that it reflects that need to feed the ego. And this pertains a lot to those individuals along the narcissistic spectrum. And it's an attempt to inhibit negative self-concept. And it increases this positive mood state, right? Which goes back.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. I've seen it in people. I mean, Jupiter again, narcissistic behavior, it does make her feel good when she gets the attention she craves, and that's why she's so outspoken and says the things she does, because she knows it's going to get her attention. And today I heard her threatening to strike Dave over a video. Now, to me, again, that's her ego, right? Once again, what she's forgotten is that the striking game does not work, because Dave reviewed a video of hers or something. She's decided, well, hey, I'm going to strike if you don't take it down. But then on the other hand, if she behaves like that and then she wants to review a stream that somebody's done and that person strikes her, she doesn't like it, you see. So again, it's her ego overlapping. She thinks she can tell people, oh, hang on, don't you review mine, but I can review anything to do with you. Again, so she fits and ticks that narcissistic box of needing social media to feed that ego of hers, because she's got a lot of self-doubt within herself in her home life, family life, and everyday life, I guess. So yeah, she definitely fits into that.
Back to what we talked about, that mood modification, that dopamine release. Now, results also show that females in particular are at a higher likelihood to develop more addictive use of activities involving social interaction than males are. And this is what our research is showing. You can look at, there's some citations of some of the research that I looked at, and I'll put that in the comments. You can check it out. And particularly for girls, for young girls, they're really getting the brunt of this. They use these social forums and social media and the internet to have social connections, sometimes with other girls, sometimes to start relationships, whatever. And these girls are more relationship driven. And doesn't mean that males are not, and that boys are not. It means that these girls are driven more so than males and boys. And what also happens with girls is that they're doing this to get a sense of being understood about their experience, and that they want to connect with other girls to get a sense of their experience. And boys, on the other hand, what the research shows is that they're engaging this because they get more of this narcissistic experience that they get from the game. So they're not as driven to social media as the girls are. They're driven more to role-playing games and contests, online, whether it's 2K basketball or it's Madden or FIFA, whatever it may be, that you're driven on there, that sense of winning, and that gives them that.
Girls, they've always got, when you're a young girl, a teenage girl, you got to be checking with your friends what's in fashion, what's not, what music are you listening to, gossip. It hasn't changed. It's just changed the platform it happens on. It used to be able, when school was over for the day, or it got dark and you had to go in or whatever, it ended there. But now it carries on social media, and girls are being girls and they're doing what they're doing. And men, the young men, are being young men, and they're not interested in gossip. They don't want to know about gossip. They head for Xbox, PlayStations, much more interesting than what the girls are interested in. And that's the way it's always been. So I think they're missing out here on how sometimes boys and girls, if you like, men and women, young men and young women, acting no different to how they act in the real world, if you like, to how they are online. They go for the same things, where Xbox and PlayStation is more for the males than it is for females. And the chatterboxes and the women, the young girls and women who want to know all about everything, because that's the way women are, it's just the way we are, will head for the social media outlet, and that's just the way it is. And I think it's a bit unfair to be splitting them up and saying that they're acting different. They're not. That the young men and the young women, they're acting exactly how they should be acting, and going for the sports and the games and things like that, because that's what men have always done. So to me, I don't know. I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that at all. You've only got to look at, I don't know, like if Dave's talking about boxing, what amount of women are interested in that? Or if another one's talking about football, it's like, oh, yawn. Where if someone's talking about makeup or something like that, or fashion or things like that, women will instantly click in and be interested. Men won't. Men, they don't want to know. So I think he's missed it. He's missed a beat there, and he's trying to put something in place that's not really happening, and that the male and female species are acting exactly as they would in real life anyway. Yes, I literally can't agree with that. I mean, I know it's New Year's Eve, and I don't know how many people are going to watch this, because most of you will probably be drinking, getting drunk, or on a stream somewhere, enjoying that. But my message has always been the same for when a new year comes around. I never get overexcited about it. I never, I'm not that way inclined, and it's because I think I just take one day at a time, and it's a very old-fashioned cliche, but that's literally how I am. I literally just take one day at a time and deal with that day for that day before I will even think about the next day, kind of thing. And to me, and I'm also a great believer in detachment. If you can detach from the emotion of things, and the emotion of others that bring you down, people that make you tired, if you know what I mean. When you're with somebody and just talking to them drains you of all your energy when they're around you, or detach from those sort of people. You don't need them in your life. Anyone that and how can I put this? anyone that you are aware of in your life, and if they come and see you, or you're talking to them on the phone or what, and just talking to them, or them being around you drains you completely, it's because they're negative people. It's because whatever's going on with them, it just takes all of your energy away. And for me, that's time to start the detachment process. And how you start that detachment process is gradually just moving away, taking a step back. And it only takes about 4 weeks. And then all of a sudden you find that the person kind of gets the message. That's what I did with Jupiter. She was starting to drain me, completely drain me of all energy with her constant whinging and fucking moaning about everyone. I mean, literally everyone, right, on YouTube. And I would go into Hangouts and I would tell certain people like Danny and that. And then I realized I had to deal with it myself. And the way I dealt with it, I mean, she said herself many times that, she'd ring. But she could ring me 5 times a day and I wouldn't pick that phone up because I knew I'd get drained by just listening to her. And then I'd avoid her online. I would avoid wherever she was. Or if she was on a panel and I wanted to go on that same panel, I'd just sit there, and sometimes I just wouldn't speak. If she was talking, I'd just stay on mute. She followed me to Wasp's panel, and if she was on there, I'd go on mute. So I didn't have to get involved in the conversation. And I think Russell picked up on that. Because he once said, "Why do you always go quiet whenever she comes onto the panel?" And I just said, "Oh, I don't know, I was doing something." And it didn't take long for her to pick up on it. And that was pure detachment at its best. Because then all the horrible things that she's had to say, her literally it just went over my head, and the drain of that she used to cause me of my energy, that drain went. It's more difficult when it's with your family, I know. In fact, I would say detachment from your family is very, very hard. Close family, that is, your own like children or things like. In fact, I'd say it's damn well impossible, not unless you're really pushed to the end of your tether, kind of thing. But for anyone other than your family, you don't need you don't need them. If they drain you of all your positive energy, or just energy in general, whether it's positive or negative energy, and you feel tired after, whilst you're talking to them, get rid of them. Start the detachment process. I'm a big believer in that. It's a Buddhist way. It does come from Buddhism, but you'll also find it in Christian things too. Christian verses and everything. But it's said in a different way. Whereas in the Buddhist way, it literally says detachment, and then it shows you how to detach from people who drain you. It also says that, when it comes to helping people, you can try once, and you can try twice, and you can try 3 times. And then after that, if whatever they're doing, if they still won't change, and they won't try to help themselves, it teaches you that you should just walk away and let them get on with it. Because whilst you're worrying and trying to help this person, and all they're doing is like leaning on you, you're getting drained of so much. And if they're not willing to help themselves, why should you waste your time in trying to help them? It teaches you that as well. Because when I first got into Buddhism, I did think, well, hang on a minute, this is like it teaches you to be a punch bag sort of thing. Let everyone come and punch me. I'm not going to say anything because the kindness, loveness, and all of this it teaches you. But then when you get deep into it, it also teaches you how to deal with, other than your close family, how to deal with people and situations that are going to harm you and hurt you in some way, and the steps to take so you don't get hurt or harmed. Um, the Dalai Lama once pointed out that his observation of modern culture was kind of made him giggle a little bit, because people will buy say a briefcase, and then of course they need something to put in that briefcase, so then they'll buy a telephone or something else to put in the briefcase, and then they need a charger for the telephone, so they go buy the charger for the telephone, and then they need electric to run the telephone, to charge the telephone. So therefore, so a whole he like observed that a whole pattern of behavior can start from buying a single briefcase. And that's the way I look at things now. I was shopping. When I'm looking online and I'm shopping, I never buy it instantly. I'll just say to myself, right, okay, that's there. So do I need it? Do I want it? And will I use it? And I asked myself those questions for 3 or 4 days. And then, of course, it depends what I decide. And then if I decide, no, I'm just buying it for the sake of buying it, I won't use it, I've saved myself a lot of money, you see. So, there's lots of ways to get through life. Lots of different ways. I don't think alcohol is a good help. But then again, some people need that to relax, and just some people can't enjoy social interactions or social events without alcohol. I completely understand that. It helps you relax. But as I've said before, the old saying of a drunk person crying into his beer is because alcohol is a depressant anyway. So the more you drink, the more either angry it's going to make you, or depressed. You get 2 types of drug, 3 types of drunk. Sorry, you get the drunk that's happy and chill, the one that's depressed, and the one that's very angry. So I guess it's up to the individual about alcohol, but my advice is to live each day for that day, and not to be too expectant of anything from anyone, and therefore you don't get too disappointed or when people let you down in some way. Because that's about, I think sometimes we can expect things from people, and when they don't come up with what we expect, we're hurt and we're upset, and we get angry. Well, I try to live my life by not expecting anything. Therefore, if I the person comes through with whatever, it's a nice surprise. But I always try to live by, okay, so I'm not going to really expect anything from anyone. If I get anything, and by thing I mean kindness, happiness, chat, talk, anything, little things. Great. If I don't, well, I'm not bothered, because I didn't expect anything in the first place. And that's how I try to live my life, to be. And It does annoy a few people around me. It does annoy them, and the reason it annoys them is because I can go for days and days and not pick the phone up and ring anyone, right? And then they'll ring me and they say, "Well, you haven't rang." And I go, "Well, I didn't know you wanted me to ring." And then they go, "Oh, I forgot what you were like." Yeah. So I'm ringing you now. And I just laugh, right? Because I can't help it. It's because I don't expect anything from anyone. I just don't. So if someone rings me, it's nice. I think, oh, great. They've rang me because they want me to. But then that's like a double-sided coin too, because also if you've got to be careful, because if you stop ringing people that you care about, and you've got to balance it out, because if you stop ringing people, they might also think, oh, she can't be bothered to ring me, I'm not ringing her, and on it goes. And then before you know it, you're just not in contact with them anymore. So you've got to try and balance that out, which is what I try to do. But yeah, I do a few people around me in real life. I know I annoy them, but it's because if they don't ring, I don't get all tetchy about it. I never say anything. And I might fire off a text message to say, "You okay?" Blah blah. And if I get a text message back, I do, and if I don't, I don't. I don't chase anyone to contact me in any way whatsoever. It's up to them. And by anyone, I literally mean anyone, and that's including family. Yeah, I don't chase. That's just the way I am. I think it comes from, I don't know what it comes from. Um, you know what? When I think about it, I don't know why I'm like that. Um, Certainly wasn't brought up to be like that, but it's just the way I am, I guess. Yeah. Uh, I must have felt something that made me be like this. But I can't remember what at the moment. So yeah, that's my best advice for the new year, is just live every day for the day. Don't expect anything. And if you get something great, well, wonderful. And my opinion on this country as a whole is, if things don't pick up pretty soon, well, I don't think we're going to be living in a Great Britain any longer. I think we're going to be living in a Great Britain stan, or a great, I don't know. I've got very big doubts, big doubts about what's going on in this country, who you can trust. It's like you can't trust anyone. You can't even trust the alternative media anymore, because they've all got an angle. They've all got a bias of some sort. And when all you want is the bloody truth about what is going on. I mean, but the biggest ones, the biggest bugbearers for me are definitely the government, right? And what they've allowed this country to turn into. Um, it's becoming an absolute mess. In some parts of the country, there's no going back for them. They're stuck there. And anybody that decides to leave this country for another country, I wouldn't blame them, to be honest. I'll never leave this country. I mean, even if it's just me and my house, and a fence, it'll still have a flag up, right? Yeah, this is England. That I'll never change. This is just the way I am. But others who decide, well, we just had enough, right? I don't blame them. I don't blame them whatsoever, because sometimes I do literally think that the country's too far gone. It's being took over by idiots and fools and people who only care about lining their own pockets, even though they tell us they think that they're looking out for us, the people. No, they're not. As for the royal family, well, they're all right as long as they just stay where they are. As for Prince Harry, I don't know. I don't know what's gone on with him, but I'm not saying anything because I do believe that he suffers with mental illness, and I think that gets overlooked and shoved under the carpet. Because let's remember, mental illness does run through the royal family. It's in their genes, and I do think Harry maybe has suffers a bit from that. So I'm not willing to. I haven't said anything about Harry for a long, long time, and I'm not going to because I get that feeling about Harry, and I don't want to play any part in what the feeling is, right, when it happens. And so that's why I'm deliberately not saying anything about Harry, kind of thing. Because I do, whenever I see a picture of him or I see a video, I get that, that creepy feeling that I get, and I don't like what I feel when I look at these videos or pictures of Harry. It's happened before, and it's never normally wrong. But I am learning that now when I get it, I take heed of it. And I don't know, it must be about a year ago, maybe I decided that no, I'm not saying anything about Prince Harry anymore. So yeah, that's just my little chat, which included a bloody hour's phone call that I wasn't expecting. Um, and so for those of you that have listened, I hope you've enjoyed it. Rightio. So that was just a little video about addiction and what people perceive as addiction on social media. And I'm going to stick to my guns about I don't know what generation they're called. I mean, I don't know. But the younger generation, I'd say from 13 to 30, I guess. They don't know any different. They can't remember a time without they don't know about times without phones, without having this mobile phone in their hand, what they can do. What's that? And Harry went through a real trauma. Yeah, Babs. Look, the feeling um the feeling I get about Harry is yeah, well, no, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. I got the same feeling, which I'm never allowed to forget, from my family, about Princess Diana, right? And it would be a good. It must have gone on for 3-4 weeks before she actually died, and kept getting this feeling about her, and I would say to family members, "Oh, she's not going to be around much longer. She's she's a loose cannon. She's this, she's that. This is going to happen to her." And then when it did happen, I kind of felt, oh, I didn't feel good at all. And then there's been many, many other occasions. I've said it before. It was the same with 9/11. I think I've said it before when I used to be driving home from work, and there was a part of the motorway where it was like a uphill, and it was the same part of the motorway every damn night. I'd be driving up this part of the motorway, and it was where it looked on the horizon like the sky was meeting the motorway, but it wasn't, And I'd be looking up at the sky, well, looking at the sky, sorry, And I'd always get this feeling that something was going to happen with aeroplanes that would change the world forever, right? And this way it must have gone on for, oh, I don't know, 6 months. And I remember I told my husband, I used to tell anyone that would listen. And if someone was in the car with me, if I was bringing a colleague home or something like that, we'd get to that point and I'd say, oh, look, I've got that feeling again that something's going to happen with aeroplanes and it's going to change the world forever. And I used to get laughed at and, oh, don't be so stupid. And then 9/11 happened. So that kind of taught me to take notice of these feelings that I get. I can't explain them. I really don't know. I just know I damn well get them. And I don't find them helpful. In fact, I dread it when I get it. I keep getting it with Harry. I keep getting that feeling when I see a picture or see a video or a news report on Prince Harry. And it's been going on now for about 6 months. And because of the experiences that I've had in the past with these feelings, I don't know what they are. I kind of backed right away from saying anything about Harry because of this feeling, and it still hasn't gone. I still get it even to this day. I've only got to look at a picture of Harry, a video of Harry, a news report of Harry, and and I never used to, not about Harry. It just came. And it's when it comes like that, I've learned to take notice of it. And I don't want to feel the same guilt I felt over well, I mean, I had nothing to do with what happened to Princess Diana, obviously. But the things I was saying leading up to her death, if you like, I was, it made me feel a bit guilty about the things I'd been saying, like, oh, she's not going to be around much longer. Oh, she's a bloody loose cannon. Oh, I've got this feeling that she's this, and then this will happen, and that will happen. And then it happened, and then I thought, Christ, and I did actually feel like a kind of guilt, which actually, and that it was that guilt that made me change my kind of career, if you like, of what I was doing. And I don't want to ever feel like that again. So when it comes to Prince Harry, yeah, I just refuse. I'm not playing the game that the media is playing. No, I'm not playing the let's dig out Harry. Let's pick on Harry. Um, let's look at everything that Harry's doing and tell him what a horrible person. No, 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 no. I did about 2 years ago. Oh yeah, I like. There's nothing I do loved than Harry bashing, if you like. But for about 6 months now, since I've started getting these feelings, yeah, well, no. And when I hear news reporters and so-called royal experts, right, saying things about Harry, and I think you're going to regret what you're saying. The day will come when you will regret what you're saying about him. The day will come when you're going to have to come on the TV and eat humble pie and regret every single word that you're saying about that man. I agree. I mean, I'm talking about Harry here, Mandy, but Meghan, right? Meghan is a whole different ball game, isn't she? She's a little Miss Actress, divorcee from America, who thought she could become part of the royal family, and the royal family would all look up to her and take advice from her. And she was going to be the queen bee, and unfortunately, well, she found out that that's not going to happen. And I believe that once she realized that she would never ever become Queen Bee, and that she was looked upon as Harry's wife, and that was it. I think that's when she started with her racism remarks. I think that's when she started with her, oh, the whole of Britain is racist. And I also think that's when she, because I blame her, the thing I do blame her for is making Harry's mental health worse than it already was, right? I think that she kind of sat him down um, and said, look, all these people, all these family members around you, they're all bad for you, bad. And we've got to get out of here. I've got to get you away from this. And you need to get a therapist. And all of a sudden, the British Empire, which he used to be very proud of, became the racist empire. All of a sudden, everything to do with what Britain ever achieved, he kind of um, changed his mind about. And that's when I used to love going Harry bashing, if you like. And then all of a sudden, yes, Mandy, yeah. But I have to say that, you'd need a fucking spyglass and extremely, I mean, I never knew that she wasn't white. I mean, to me, I still look upon her as somebody white. I mean, it's I don't get where all this so-called racism was supposed to have come from in the bloody first place. Anyway, I don't like the woman. I don't think she's good for Harry whatsoever. I do hope he's got some mistress or something hanging around. I can't believe that. You see, this is where I get the feeling, right? This is where I have to stop and think. But I can't believe that Harry is going to be happy with her forevermore. I can't see it. He will either, well, whatever, but she will definitely end up meeting a richer and grander person, if you like. And she'll leave Harry. And then what's he going to do? But hopefully he has got a mistress, because we all know that the royal family, they like to have, well, the men, they like to have mistresses, don't they? So hopefully he has spread his wings a bit during this marriage and gone to places that we don't know about and seen other women, because I've got no faith in her whatsoever. That touchy, where she strokes his arm and she's all forever fucking patting him on the back, like he's some sort of child that needs looking after. No, I didn't like none of that. And where Harry's book, that book that he wrote, Spare, when he talked, this is the worrying thing. When he talks about Meghan, he literally talks about her like she's his mother. Yeah. He said that when he looks at Meghan, right, he sees his mother. Now, that's a big warning sign. I mean, for God's sake, anyone. That was such a strange, very strange thing to say, but he says it in his book. When he looks at Meghan, he sees his mother. And then in that documentary, when she had hold of, is it Archie? Yeah, Archie, or it could have been the other one, Lilibet. And she was pointing at Diana in a picture, going, "This is your grandmother, Diana. This is your." There was no picture of the Queen going, "Oh, well, this is your great grandmother, the Queen." No, it was Diana, because she wants to follow in the footsteps of Princess Diana. Well, she's not going to ever, 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 ever be able to do that. And while I'm on the subject of the royal family, right? I've just got to say a few things here. That so-called queen of ours called Camilla. Okay, I was watching that documentary that was on the TV the other night about a year as king and queen, right? So-called queen, and I had to giggle to myself because Camilla, if she doesn't have to move all day, she won't, right? She hates having to do anything at all. She's always been like that. That's why the only thing she likes doing, and I don't know if she can still do it now with her age, horse riding and walking with the dogs or things like that. But she doesn't actually like to move and do anything. And she moans a lot about to King Charles now about having to do things. But I have to be honest about this so-called queen. I don't like her. But to me, when they say, "Oh, I'm Queen Camilla," I'm thinking she's not a queen. She's not a queen of anything. She is the reason our poor queen, the real queen, the only queen, right, Elizabeth I, had to stay on the bloody, had to stay working right up to the last day of her life because of her, because she told Charles she could not be queen. And she knew that Charles would go against her wishes and make that woman queen. And he did. He did exactly what she said he would do. And I can't ever, I knew I wouldn't be able to, and I can't accept her as queen of anything. To me, she's just Camilla. King consort. End of it. I will never refer to her as her Royal Highness or her. What were they calling her on that in that documentary now? Oh yeah, they were calling her Her Majesty, Your Majesty. Stop with the Your Majesty. She's a divorced woman, right? With children, which goes against everything that the crown is supposed to stand for. But spoiled Charles got all the protocols changed and everything else, so he could have his own way and marry her Camilla, right? And I don't think that's right. That we should be, expected to like to respect her. She was the king's mistress, for God's sake. Throughout the marriage of Charles and Diana. Yeah, that the marriage didn't work. I think the age difference was too much. And obviously, when Diana was only 18, she was no way mature enough to take on what was ahead of her. For Camilla to be in the background constantly, no. What, are we meant to just forget that? Our generation who lived through it all, who watched it happen, no, I'll never respect her as queen. Queen what? Queen of being a mistress? What is that what she is? She's no queen of mine. No, and she's not even meant to be queen. She's meant to be the consort. But that was soon dropped. Charles made sure that would drop. I mean, I don't even know, because if you think back, when the Queen was on the Queen's coronation, right? When you look at like the old videos of the Queen's coronation, Philip, right, was not coronated, right? He was Prince Philip, right, or the Duke of Edinburgh. He was not King Philip, right? So I'm beginning to wonder, I mean, did the Queen expect Queen Elizabeth I'm talking about? Did she go to her grave thinking that that Camilla would never be coronated because Prince Philip wasn't? So why was she? Why did that take place? I don't think Queen Elizabeth I ever thought that Camilla would be coronated in like the king. I don't think she ever thought that would happen, and it did. And a part of me can't forgive Charles for that. And to be quite honest, I'll be glad to see the back of him and William come walking down as king. And I'll be only too happy to accept Catherine as Queen Catherine of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and all the dominions within. Yeah, no problem there. But Camilla, no. No, no, no. I won't have it, can't have it, and won't accept it. If she hadn't been shagging Mandy, Charlie, William, and Harry would probably still have their mother. Well, you see, Mandy, that is exactly how my mind works too. Because remember, it's a bit like sliding doors, isn't it? Right. So if he hadn't been so busy having his affair with Camilla, would Diana have felt the need to keep going abroad and meeting all these men, right? She met because she needed to fill her life up. Because there's no doubt the woman was devastated when she learned that Charles really never loved her and was always in love with Camilla. Would she have been in Paris that night? Would she have been with Dodi Al-Fayed? No. She'd have been at bloody Sandringham. Or was it Balmoral? I can't remember. Balmoral, sorry, it was summer, so it would be Balmoral. So she'd have been at Balmoral with the two boys and her husband. But and Charles put pay to that, didn't he? Because he couldn't leave Camilla alone. You've got to wonder why. She must have a fantastic personality. I don't know. Diana was a broodmare for the royal family. She was definitely used, for the heir and the spare. But I also think that Diana did think that Charles actually loved her. There's no doubt in my mind that she went into that marriage thinking that she was marrying Charles for the rest of her life. So you can imagine how she will have felt when it hit her face on that Charles never actually loved her. Yeah, you can imagine how devastated she was when she realized that one. And I think maybe that was, the consequences of finding that out about the man that you love led her down the path she went. It was like she couldn't, the last weeks of her life, for the last 4 weeks of her life, it was like she could not settle at doing anything. And I think it's because she finally saw, because he wanted to celebrate, Camilla's fucking 50th birthday and all the rest of it. And she was left the country a lot. So she didn't have to be around while all this was going on. So I think she suffered greatly as well, mentally. I think I don't think she had any kind of mental illness or depression before she married Charles. I think she got it after she married Charles and the way that Charles treated her. I think it all built up and she became a victim. She became a victim for a few years, when she had that bulimia or something. And then after that, she started building herself up so she could do speeches better and she looked better and everything else. But the love she had for Charles never, ever went. And obviously he didn't care about her, but Yeah, I reckon she was a devastated woman, and that devastation was then passed on to the two sons. And I think one of the sons has obviously been able to forgive, and I think the other one hasn't. I do think that William, even to this day, probably doesn't accept Camilla as anything other than Camilla. I don't think he sees her as a queen. But I don't think Harry sees her as anything. And when people slag Harry off because he said bad things about Camilla, I often think, well, what the hell do you expect? What do you expect? What was he meant to keep his mouth shut for the rest of his life? Was he? You know that the fact he doesn't like Camilla. So what? Who cares? You know, if it wasn't for her, his mother would have still been alive. So how can you expect William or Harry to have any kind of deep feeling towards Camilla other than resentment? I mean, I think they're very strong individuals to be able to show themselves in public right next to her. To be quite honest, when on the occasions that they've had to do that, I think that's took a lot of strength for them to do that, and a lot of selfishness on their father's part to ask them to do that, just so it looks good for Camilla. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anybody about that wants to pop on for a chat, because I'm sure there's other streams going, and there's drink being passed, and people are happy and drinking, and I don't drink, so I just thought I'd do this just to see if anybody was around. I saw earlier that the old Jupiter, was doing another stream about Dave. How many streams is she going to do about Dave? And if she wants to start the striking war again against people, well, I don't have a problem with that. I've said before, right? The striking game on here is stupid. It doesn't work. You think it's going to work, but it doesn't, because there will come a time, Jupiter, when you will want to review somebody's stream, and because you put a strike on another person, they will strike you. So you're being a bit silly there and a bit childish. Yeah, you like to review people's streams, so why can't people review you? But then we must remember she's been elevated. And in 2024, well, she's not going to mention no one's name, and she's going to see how many times she's going to these lengths, right? This shows true addiction. She's going to get a little writing book, and she's going to write down how many times people who she doesn't talk about her, right? And then at the end of next year, 2024, she's going to do a live, and she's going to say who said what and when they said it, just to prove that, well, she's now elevated, because apparently people can't stop talking about her. But my theory is the right theory, right? If she keeps her mouth shut about other people, right? Other people will not talk about her. It's as simple as that. So I guess it's up to her, isn't it, really? She can either carry on with the stupidity she's been doing. And she has promised, though, that she is not going to talk about other people in 2024, which is like tomorrow. So I guess we just all have to wait and see, won't we? Because I can't see it. There's no way she is going to get through a week without talking about people, right? Let alone a year. It's impossible. Not going to happen, right? And yet she reckons she can go a whole year. No, she won't be able to go a week. And again, today, she told this absolute story about Dave, right? And I thought, oh, why does she do this? Well, I know why she does it. She doesn't get attention. Who's this? Oh, it's Babs.
Hi. Hi,
Are you
Wendy.
all right, darling?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. I'm okay, love.
Well, for Jupiter's live stream next year, I would say it's going to be quite short because I don't think anybody's going to be talking about her either. She can fucking do one.
This is what I mean, Babs, right? So I've said for a few months now, if she stops saying things about other people,
Yep.
right, other people are not going to talk about her. So she's promised that she's not going to talk about other people, right? So therefore, for me, it means that no one, including myself, needs to mention her. But I'm telling you, Babs, you won't be able to go a week before she'll start again.
Of course.
She can't do it.
No. It's going to be interesting because I said to Ghost this afternoon, honestly, if I had £1 for every time between her, Hayley, and Moon they mentioned Danny's name, I'd be a fucking rich woman. I would be loaded because they just don't stop. I just like.
And Danny does nothing.
Yeah. I know. I'm not saying Danny's perfect.
I used to say to Danny, no, he's
but
not.
None
No,
of us are we?
He's not. No, no, of course we're not. But for months they were slagging off Danny, and I used to go and talk to Danny, and I'd say, for God's sake, Danny, will you go and do a live and defend yourself? So, and he wouldn't. Let them get on with it. Let them. And then in the end, he had enough, and he finally started to defend himself. And once he started defending himself, that's when they really didn't like it. Do you know what I mean, Babs? They thought they really went to town on him then. But I don't know what he's done to deserve such hatred. The man hasn't done anything.
It's absolutely poison. Calling him a nonce and a paedophile and all this. And no, it's so wrong. I mean, he's got kids. He's got a wife at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? What why are they calling him a paedophile and a nonce? Just disgusting.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Cara, love. Yeah.
Happy New Year, Cara.
He's done nothing to deserve that, love.
No.
Danny's only ever shown respect to women. He really had to. They really had to push, for him to start defending himself. They were calling him all sorts, and he didn't, because they were women. He didn't feel he could defend himself. Yeah, and then I think when they started with the paedophile stuff, Babs, I think that's when he thought, no, I've had enough of this. But I'm going to start saying something, because, and I'm surprised how well you get on with Ghost, Babs.
With who?
Ghost. Ghost.
Oh, Ghost. Yeah. I do. We didn't at one time. We used to be to and fro, but I saw what he was saying because it annoyed me, his stance on Jupiter. But then I heard her one day telling him that his wife was a prostitute and his children were retarded.
Oh my
and
God.
I thought to myself, no, that you can't, no. And I think that was the start of the end for me. That was, you know what I mean? I was horrified.
So that was the start of your eyes being opened and you saw things for yourself.
Yeah. And then about a week later, she was on some other panel, and she told some guy, because he wasn't married to his girlfriend, their kids were bastards. Now,
Wow.
no, 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 no. That's fucking no. You can't do it.
No, you can't
And
do that.
you know, and then all this stuff. What that Moon got upset about me just asking, even though she'd already told me that she had the proof of what apparently Wavy was supposed to have said about her children. So all I said was, well, let's see the proof then. Why don't you show the proof? And then we
Yeah.
can get on with it. We can get on with it. Oh, she went mental. She literally went mental. And then when the proof came out, he turned around and said something about the dark side of the moon. And
Right.
it's like, okay, what does that mean? I don't understand. And then, no. Yeah.
Well,
Done
like I
with
said,
it all.
yeah, like I said to you last night, Babs, now you're able, you don't get any trouble and you're able to go on whatever panel you want with no trouble.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I said, you don't have to report back to headquarters. And when you go to head, you would, I mean, I noticed that you'd bounce about on different panels, but when you got back to head, they'd question you about where you'd been and what you'd done.
Yeah.
Or what you'd said.
Yeah. And I remember Jupiter and Bleeding basically. Oh, and Moon had a meltdown because I spoke to Eric and put kisses on it.
Well, yeah, but
I don't get it.
so
I don't.
what? I mean, when you used to leave little comments under my videos, I don't like what you said about. I hardly ever used to comment back, but
I know.
I didn't want to argue back with you because I thought she will see the light one day. She'll see what I'm seeing. But I think at that time, you just thought I hated Tommy Robinson, and that was the end of that. But my point for you, Babs, was that you were being stunted and stopped from going to the panels you wanted to, by those people. You see what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Had a great big meltdown when they found out I was going on Danny's last year. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, I do what I want. I will do what I want.
God knows what they think of you going on Ghosts then.
Well. I mean, me and Ghost are getting on really well at the moment. I mean, who knows if that's going to last? But
I'm fine with Ghost. I find that I'm okay with Ghost as long as we don't talk about politics or the religion.
Yeah.
I'm fine with him. And as long as that doesn't come into it, I get on with him fine. Other than that, I don't want to talk about the religion, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm the same. I try to stay away from sort of like the religious stuff because I did ask him the other day what he did on Christmas Day, and he did tell me. I said to him, I'm not being funny, but what do you do? Because I know that they don't celebrate it. He doesn't have a Christmas tree, no Christmas decorations, no nothing. Then I was quite interested. But yeah, Mandy, you're right. I haven't lost my
I'm
temper.
I'm going to put that comment up. I've not seen Babs lose her temper since she walked away from Jupiter and Moon. And
I'm so much happier, Wendy. Honestly, I'm going into the new year a very happy individual. So, it's definitely the right thing for me.
Well, they were kind of trying to mold you into this person that you really weren't.
Yeah, I know.
And make you seem like this person that you really weren't. Oh, she's dropped off. Oh, never mind. Bless her. But,
sort of like blame myself.
Yeah, so you were. Now we can see the much happier, content Babs like that used to be.
Yeah.
Because they were
Yeah,
making
Robert
you
Moon
into
is a bad egg.
Yeah, but they were making you into this angry person who I didn't recognize.
Yeah, I know. And I was getting angry all the time, wasn't I? You know?
Yeah. Really,
And
really angry
that
Babs.
wasn't good. Yeah. But yeah, 3/4 of an hour left, and then the new year is here. I got invited to a family party, but I was like, nah. I'm not. I'm past all that now.
Same here, love. I just don't celebrate the new year. It comes and it goes. It's here. Let's deal with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, when you're a teenager and a youngster, it's different, isn't it? You go out to the clubs.
Oh yeah. My
But as you
son's
get
out in
older-
town tonight, so yeah, that's what they do when they're younger, and we used to always do it. But
Yeah, exactly.
nah.
You know. But, you know what really used to like anger me, right, was when they used to when Jupiter referred to you as an elderly lady.
Oh my God. I ended up saying something to her one day about that. I did actually say to her, Jupiter, you do realise that I'm only sort of like 8 years older than you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like it was like Danny did it the other night as well, didn't he? And I was like, "Oi, you!" Oh, bless him!
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
but she used to
the elder.
She'd do it with such venom. Yeah. You know, they were having a go at that elderly woman, and that really annoyed me. I thought, hang on a minute. You can be considered elderly then, if that's the way you want to go. And then you'd get Moon joining in and saying exactly the same thing. And I thought, I used to think, Babs, please say something. You got to start saying something.
And I did bite one day. I did get sick of it because, I'm only 8 years is nothing. 8 years is not. Do you know what I mean? It's not a lifetime. It's not like I'm 80 years old or something. Do you know what I mean?
Love. Yeah. Well, that's what I didn't understand. This elderly, you know.
I know.
This woman goes on bloody protests. This woman does this and this woman does that. Why are they referring to her like that?
I know. It did drive me absolutely insane, because I certainly think I look younger than Jupiter, so she can jog on.
Well, you see, I did wonder at some point if it was being said deliberately, if you know what I mean. If it was being said deliberately to upset you and to get at you. And what all she was managing to do was anger other people.
Yeah. Somebody else said to me, "You know more about this, Wendy, because I haven't. I've only been around 18, 20 months, something like that now." Somebody said to me, Jupiter's been 55 since she came on here.
Jupiter's been 55 for a good 2 years. Yes.
Right, so she's not. So she isn't.
I'd say she's older than 55. Yes, definitely. In fact, I think I refer to her as being 56 or 57. She lies constantly about everything. Everything that comes out of her mouth, Babs, is a lie. Everything.
Well, do you remember the statement about you can't have rape within marriage?
Oh, yes.
And then she denied that she said it. And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But you did say it. Do you know what I mean? That's how naive I am, because I couldn't believe that people could turn around and actually say something so public and then deny it.
Yeah, she said it. And she said, even people who are not married, right, Babs, and are in a relationship, a long-term relationship, she doesn't consider that the woman can be raped in that neither.
See, I don't get people's thought on that. I don't. How can
And
you actually? How can you be a woman and turn around and say that?
I don't know.
I don't.
Because when the day she said it, she rang me and she says, "You got to help me get out of this." I said, "I can't." I said, I can't, because I'm sorry, I don't have the same beliefs. She knew what she'd said was wrong, Babs. And she
Do
wanted
you
me
think
to.
she did it by mistake, or do you think she did it for a reaction? Because
She
I've
did.
noticed with her, she does like doing reaction. Oh, I'm elevated.
Oh, she's not elevated. She
I'm,
just likes to think she is. She's not
yeah,
elevated about anything. But
yeah.
she
I think she says things for a reaction.
she said it, and she thought she'd get the reaction of people agreeing with her, and people didn't agree with her. People were pretty angry at what she'd said, and she rang me. She says, "Oh, how am I going to get out of this?" And I couldn't help her, because how'd you get out of saying, "Well, you"? What she did was she just denied ever saying it.
That's what she did, and it was
Yeah.
literally within days. She was like, "I never said that," and because I heard her, and I was like, "What?" But you did say that.
Yeah, I mean, how could you even think that? Because any woman can be raped at any time, whether they're married, not married, it
Yep.
doesn't matter. You just don't
Yep.
say, "Oh, a woman can't be raped."
Well, this is a lady that is elevated thinking like that. So, maybe that's what elevated people think like. Who knows? Because
And
we're
I
not
think,
elevated, Wendy.
well, obviously not,
I don't
Babs.
want to be elevated.
Well, I don't know what elevated is meant to mean. I mean, I think I think that what came in with you was she was a bit jealous of the fact that you've actually met her God, Tommy.
Yep.
The fact that you've done many protests to do with Tommy. And I think that jealousy, because I know how she thinks, you see, Babs, and I think that jealousy of you and your connection with different people, because you've been on these protests, were really ate away at her and made her jealous of you.
It's possible because somebody else said
Possible.
that
Well,
to
it's
me
a
about
fact.
a
I'm
few other
telling you,
people.
Babs.
Yeah.
Babs, I'm telling you, it's a fact. It's an
Yeah.
absolute fact.
But it was like after I fell out with them, she turned around and she said to me, "And we had to put up with her potty mouth, didn't we, Moon?" And I was like, "You fucking kidding me?"
With whose
Do you know
with
what
your
I
potty
mean?
mouth?
Yeah, she was talking about me, and she said to Moon, "We had to put up with her potty mouth as well, didn't we?" And it was like, "Are you fucking
Oh
kidding me?
my!
You two
Oh
are the
my
worst two
God!
on here." And
Oh my God!
I did laugh. I didn't. It didn't annoy me. I think that was the day that I actually realised that I'm so much better off, because it didn't annoy me. Whereas if I'd been where I was before, I would have gone mad. I think I would have gone mad.
Yeah. But
But
Maggie's right. I haven't heard you lose your temper since you
no,
pulled away from
I
them.
haven't. And what I don't get is, so I've got Den Carrigan,
Right.
calling me a flip flopper.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then, did I not remember that Den Tarragon had fallen out with Kaylee a few weeks ago? And
Exactly.
yes, Den Tarragon's now friends with Kaylee again. So
Well, this is the thing, Babs. People who call other people flip floppers I don't do that, because I think people see other people for what they truly are in time, and
Yep.
you learn from it.
Yeah. Yep.
And you, I mean, I've seen that you've learned from it by your own change in your personality. You've gone back to being the Babs I used to know.
Yeah.
Not
Exactly.
the Babs that was always angry and shouting, and that just wasn't you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And I did say that. I don't understand why I'm getting so angry all the time. I was angry I felt it. And because now I know I'm not, and I'm so happy. And yeah. It's,
I mean,
just,
the mere fact you can go on to, I mean, come on, Babs, you going on to Ghost Channel would never have happened before.
no.
And now look.
Or if I had, there would have been a great big row on there.
Oh yeah, a major, massive row. And now look, you see.
Yeah, the last 2 days I've been on, and it's been great. And you know, I feel I wanted to, like, because there's so many people that I have been horrible to some people because of whatever happened. Do you know what I mean? But like, got to remember, you got people from all ways like pulling you and stuff like that. And it's like all this taffy stuff with me saying what I did. I'm not going to say it again, but you know, in my defence, I was pushed to the limit, and I couldn't
I've
help
been
it.
I've been where you were, and you are literally pushed to the end of your tether, and you will come out with anything at all, right? And the best thing to do, you did the best thing. You totally regrouped, walked away from them, and you're a better person for it, Babs.
Yeah.
You don't need them.
No.
You're able to go on panels now, and people don't have a go at you straight away, and things like that. You know?
There will still be some that will be having a go, but what I've done is I've blocked the people that I know that are still going to be saying nasty things about me, because if I saw it in the chat, I'd be like, yeah, and do you know what I mean? So, and yeah, there's still going to be people that's never going to speak to me again. That's the way things are. So, you know, you know, I accept that. I don't expect people to talk to me. The ones that don't, carry on. No, you know, I'm talking to the people that I want to talk to.
Exactly, and I expect it's a wider circle than it was before when you were with them.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I wanted to say is, can you explain to me what this picking up and dropping of Kaylee is all about? Do you know?
Oh, with them lot, you mean? Right.
Yeah.
So when Kaylee is popular with people, right? Like people are talking about Kaylee, they will pick her up, and she's gullible enough and stupid enough to believe that they want to be her friend, and they're going to listen to her, and they're not going to fall out with her. And then when they're bored of her, they just drop her again. But she's a useful, you know the term, a useful idiot.
Useful idiot, yeah.
That's Kaylee for them lot. They don't care about her. They can't stand her. They hate her.
Yep, I know. And I cannot work out. I mean, even the ones that surprised me even more now are Bleeding and Esau. I mean, they're even talking to her.
Yeah, because it's in their best interest too, because they think they can get more. It's all about views and likes and turning people against other people. So let's get friendly with. I mean, how can she be friendly with Esau after what Esau did with her kids for about a year? What's that about?
I don't know, and this is what I don't get. Yeah. So going back a year ago, she did this GoFundMe to take Danny Jones to court.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
she gets 2.5 grand. She spends it on a laptop and a sewing machine. She
yeah.
doesn't take Danny Jones to court. She makes up with Danny Jones for a brief period,
Of time, yeah.
and then he has to ban her from WhatsApp, because she's starting to go mad again. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden she's going at Danny Jones again, but not taking him to court because no, because she spent that money.
She spent that. She's been allowed to do that GoFundMe, spend that money, and no one, well, none of them are saying anything to her about it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and you did donate, didn't you, Babs? Yeah, I forgot that.
Yep, I know. I just like, I don't get it. I literally do not get it. One minute they're against her, then they're with her, then they're against her, then they're with her. And
Because
you've
she's
got,
an idiot. Yeah.
you got Esau yesterday trying to convince me to start talking to her. No, I'm not. I'm never going to talk to her.
No.
She is the biggest absolute wronging. She laughed when I told her that I had cancer, which is why I got upset about what she said about Nobby's swimmers inside of me. When I told her it was because of cancer, she laughed. Now she's trying to deny that now, but she did. But I'm not like her. I don't go around taping everything, so I can't prove it.
No, but I'm not shocked that she did. It's the sort of low thing that she would do.
Yeah.
And any normal-minded person wouldn't find anything funny about anyone having cancer, Babs.
No.
I'm just glad you came through it, love, and you're all right now.
Yeah. I mean, it was 12 years ago now. But how can you ever laugh? How can you laugh at somebody having cancer? I wouldn't, even if it was
No,
the person that I hated the most in the world, I still wouldn't laugh.
no. But that's her mentality, you see, and that's why she can be used as a useful idiot by them.
Yeah. She's no. She's not. I don't want to know that woman. I really don't want to know her. So cool, right?
Because when I used to listen to you when you were sitting with them, I used to always think, can Babs not see what's happening here? But when you're in the thick of it, you can't see it, can you, Babs?
No. You can't. So many people said that to me. You'll see in the. I think even Dave was hoping I would see the light before I did, and I think that's why he fell out with me in the end. But
I didn't know Dave had fallen out with you. I didn't know that.
oh yeah, he hates me. I'm all the cunts under the sun. Sorry for that word. I'm
That's
all
all
the
right.
baddins under the sun now, but don't care.
Oh well, that's okay. But I've noticed you're still able to jump. Like I say, keep saying, go anywhere, and people are really nice with you, and people are okay with you, and you are a lot happier, and that's all that counts. You are a lot happier.
Yep. Exactly. But I've got to admit, there's a few comments tonight that have surprised me. I mean, Alice said something nice. Thank you, Alice. I'm not a bad person. I'm not. I've been made out to be a bad person by bad people. And
I knew you weren't a bad person, but I didn't know what had happened to turn you the way you went for a while.
Do you know what? Like, do you remember when you and Jupiter fell out?
Yeah.
I turned around and I said, I'm not choosing sides. I
That's
like
right.
both of
Yeah.
them. So we stayed friends.
That's
But
right.
I got assy with you.
You did over the
Okay,
comment I made about.
There
Yeah.
was a comment you made about Tommy that he was something
Yes.
like, and that was when I was upset, and that was, you know, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm totally different now. People can, I respect people that hate Tommy, but respect the fact that I don't.
Exactly, and that's how I've always been with you.
Yeah.
But I think that comment when you was angry was one comment too far, and all of a sudden you went nuts at me.
Yeah.
And because I think you were in this angry frame of mind, you wouldn't leave it.
Yeah.
But now you know my thoughts, and I know your. But I can respect that you're a big follower of Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have no problem at all.
I have the same sort of thing with Danny. Danny doesn't support Tommy, but he respects me and he knows that I do, and don't have a problem. And there's a few other people, and that is even Ghost. Ghost can't stand Tommy, but he knows that I do. And he respects that fact. I think he would like to convert me, but I don't know.
Well, don't they all try to convert us? I mean, it's never going to happen, but
yeah. Yes, Alice. I hope to move on with 2024. With people, people that I can trust. And there's a few people that I won't be, and I can't. But the others, yeah. I
thought it was abominable how they used to behave. But like I say, when you're in the thick of it, you can't see it for what it is.
And it's so strange how I feel so much happier now.
Because you can come onto YouTube, right, and be yourself and not be forever in arguments and shouting and screaming at people all the time whilst they sat back and let it carry on.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have to listen to every day. It's like, pedo this, nonce that, pedo this, nonce that. Do you know what? Since I've not been talking to them, I might have heard it probably to do with Hoaxed. I've heard it then, but that was it.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's so much nicer.
Exactly, because other people who run panels, they tend not to think about that all the time or talk about it.
Yeah.
That's all they can talk about all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's silly Kaylee, because I've done those few streams about Hopstead Babs.
Yeah.
She tagged me in nearly every video she's done. I mean, she's pathetic.
Oh, she is pathetic. She keeps tagging me in ones to do with me, and it's like, fuck off, love, fuck off. But I do tell her, but she's like, oh, damn it. Oh, go away. Go and find your kids. Go and look after them.
Well, but she gave up her kids so she could follow the story of two other children.
I don't think she did. I think she was given a choice. I think she was told by social services they either go to live with their dad or we're taking them into care. I do.
Well, that could very well be the case. Yeah.
She's never gonna admit it. She'll never admit it. But yeah.
But that was a good tip you gave me the other day when you left that comment. Right?
Yeah.
Because it was your comment that made me go look at that stream. And when I was looking at the chat, I could see why you put about the chat. My God, the people on there were saying the most horrendous things.
I
You
know.
I mean, especially Moon. And she called Alice, right? And she said Alice was some sort of Satanist. That was it.
Yeah, Satanist or something, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, she's so.
She's bitter.
You know,
and
they
nasty.
deserve each other because they're both narcissists. I think that's the only way I can turn around and describe it.
No, you'd be right
Oh,
there.
here she is. I'm going to regret it, am I? No, I'm not. Go
No,
fuck
she's
yourself,
not.
Kaylee.
No, she's not. She was fine before she went talking with you lot. Babs used to get on with everybody before. It was only when she got
Kaylee, it's my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion. My opinion is you were given two choices. Either your husband has your children or they were going into care. I will repeat that and repeat that and repeat it. Okay, bitch? It's my opinion, Wendy.
No,
I'm
but you
allowed
have
that
every right to
opinion.
have that opinion. She made it publicly known. So she's
Exactly.
made it a public topic, if you like. So you can have that opinion.
Yep.
What's Alice saying here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wendy, I am a cunt.
Go on.
I will admit that I can be nasty, but I am not satanic, and I do not believe in that crap. I blocked Kaylee. Best thing I ever did. Don't see her spouting nonsense. Well done, Alice, love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bitch. What's Kaylee saying here?
Yeah, bitch, you'll get my response when you say it to my face. Come and knock on my door, mate. Come and knock on my door any day you want, bitch. I've already told you, there's a file here. It's been waiting for the police for the last 6 months, full of everything that you have done. Okay? And you're the one that said the police were coming here, Katie, not me.
To be quite honest, Babs, I don't think the police take any notice of her at all.
No, I don't think they do either.
Yeah,
This is what gets me. So I'm not allowed an opinion now. I'm not allowed to turn around and have my own thoughts about what's happened.
No, obviously not, love.
Any day you want, Katie. Look.
Yeah, I think she has finally gone off the cliff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She's lost it. I'll go back to your own bloody channel, Kaylee. And
go back over and find Jupiter and me and all your friends.
Yeah, go back to your friends. Or are they your friends now? Now they got you to
actually, maybe they're not.
Yeah, they're not your friends. They hate your guts. Yeah, they always have and they always will. As you will find out in a few weeks probably, or a few days.
Go and get all these psychologists that you reckon that are looking at all your work. Go and get them to listen to this and they'll tell you Babs is allowed to have her own opinion.
Oh, yeah, apparently, the psychologists have been watching me for over a year now, Babs.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked they've got the time to waste.
That's exactly it, Wendy. They haven't. We've got a mental health crisis on our hands at the moment. Yeah. And honestly, if she has had psychologists looking at her work and we all find out, we should all go and make a great big complaint about it, because people need real help, not like this delusional cunt. Sorry, Wendy, I shouldn't be saying that word on you, but I am getting annoyed. get
No,
annoyed
it's
because of
fine. Don't
her.
let her annoy you. Don't. She's a take her for the idiot that she is, and everything she says is pathetic. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
She went into therapy, and what's happened here is, right, she's gone into therapy, and instead of listening to the therapist, she's thought, I know better than the therapist. I am the therapist, therefore I know better than the therapist, and she hasn't listened to a word, and
No.
you can't help her.
No. I actually believe that I think she's in crisis at the moment. I really do.
Yeah,
She has been slowly getting worse these last couple of months. And yeah, I wonder what else has been happening these last couple of months. Yeah,
but
hemp soup. Yeah, going out to make Jake for some hemp soup that Jake wanted to give to kids. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Are
did
you
you hear
kidding
what he
me?
said? Did you hear what he said the other night? He said he admitted that he was going to feed the hemp soup. He told a psychiatrist, I was feeding the child hemp soup because I believe the child ate baby.
Oh my God.
And that's when he was sectioned, Babs. Well, you can't blame the psychiatrist for sectioning him at that point.
No.
Can you?
No. And isn't it funny? Like, Kaylee keeps on sticking up for him, saying, "Oh, he's been gagged for 5 years." Yeah, and the day his gagging order got off, he was straight on the internet with her spouting shit again.
He hasn't stopped. There's not one day
Yeah, no,
he hasn't been on here talking the crap that they talk.
Yep.
And he loves to go into detail. He does, and it's disgusting, to be quite honest, Babs, that he even knows such detail. It's terrible.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be like. He shouldn't be saying about it all.
No.
Do you know what? Like one afternoon, I was sat here and I was like, I'm gonna have a look at his channel. Yeah. So I went and looked at his channel, and I put the first video on, and within 2 seconds, yeah, it was a child talking about said something or other about sexting. And that was it. I was like, no, I can't watch this.
No, you can't.
And I don't understand how people can.
No, neither. I don't understand it neither. And how come YouTube have allowed those videos to stay up?
Yep. Well, oh, look at her threatening Mandy now. Mandy, I'll be seeing you myself.
Oh, shut up, Kaylee. You've been threatening everyone for God knows how long. You never leave that bloody house or flat of yours, only to go.
Hey, Kaylee, I know a boyfriend that would suit you. Yeah? Go to Fat Dan's and you can both be fantasists together.
Oh, yeah, Fat Dan. I forgot about him.
My God. She sounds exactly like him.
Yes,
I've got this, and I've got that, and police are doing this, and police are doing that. Police are doing fucking shit. Get it through your thick head. Blue lights will be needed.
Well, yeah, she imagines the police are her own special police force when the police don't actually care what she's doing. I mean, she needs to go into a psychiatric unit and take all the help she can get. That's what she needs.
What was that? Don't worry, Helen. I've already got a pack ready for Victoria Prentice myself.
You're nuts, Kaylee.
A pack of what?
A pack of what?
Feed Dan nettle and hemp soups and smoothies, Briscoe just said. Oh dear.
Nettle and hemp soups and smoothies. Ellie, yeah, that's about right, isn't it?
But did you see the change in me when I saw her?
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, no, I know what it is. It is her. She drives me insane.
Yeah, but the thing to do is just laugh at her, right? Because everything she says is nuts. She
Yeah.
can't do anything. The police are not interested in her. I reckon the police try to avoid her, to be quite honest. What's she saying? Well, the police think you're a bit of an idiot trying to diagnose me over what? Over the idiot, you silly. Well, you know what that says. That doesn't make sense. Don't know what you're talking about. It's
Well,
you
the
that
police
said,
think you're
yeah,
a bit of an idiot
yeah,
trying to diagnose me over the idiot.
yeah.
You silly seas.
I
What?
don't get what would that what?
Go back to primary school, Kaylee, and learn how to bloody write.
Whoa, what does that mean?
I don't
Little,
know. I really don't know. Internet. Not a hard one to figure out.
well, you should have put that then, shouldn't you?
But you didn't. But that's not what you said. And the police, yet again, as I keep telling Fat Dan, I'm going to tell you the same. The police will not give you any of their opinions of
No,
of what's going on. I
no.
know my nephew is a policeman, okay? So I do know they're not allowed to. They're not
But they
allowed to
can't.
favour one
They
side
can't.
or the other.
No, they've got to
Go and
be
do one.
impartial. They've got to be
Yep.
impartial. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she keeps on saying, "Oh, my PC." Oh, what? So have you got your own police? Now, is he just working for you? Working for what? What favours? Ah, dear, not very good, Katie, is it? Doing favours like that.
No, there's only you're the thick one, Kaylee.
Yeah.
You've allowed yourself to be used and abused by the very people that hate your guts. Yeah.
Oh my God!
So
Did you
you
see
were the
what?
thick one. Helen,
See
my
what
children.
she's just said to Helen.
Helen, my children are looking forward to talking to you. Keep it up.
Well, if
Your
you've
children.
told your kids that is
What?
absolutely disgusting. You should be ashamed to be a mother
Yeah.
if you've told your children anything about all of this. You should be protecting your children.
Wow.
My God.
So see what kind of mother you are.
Yep.
Yeah. You've got to wonder about her. It's a good job that the hubby was about, or the boyfriend, and could take the children and look after them, because you obviously weren't capable of doing so.
She really, if she's told her kids they will be adults one day, and unfortunately for you all, you didn't get rid of me. Didn't even fucking try to get rid of you, love. What you on about?
That's why you're able to comment in this chat. No one is trying to get rid of you, Kaylee. What are you talking about? Do you see what I mean, Babs? What you?
Yeah, I know.
Does she not
It's
realise
like
she is
when
being allowed to chat?
yeah, when somebody says to her, "Oh, you're a bad mother." Oh no, they're talking about my kids. No, they're not. They're saying
No,
that you're a bad mother, not your children.
not your
Get that
kids.
through your thick head.
I think she's so far gone. Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, Danny was saying a few weeks, well, for quite a while, that she needs sectioning, and
Yeah, she does.
I've got to agree with them now.
Yep, she does. She needs sectioning. She does need sectioning. And I don't care if she doesn't like it that I'm saying it. She needs help.
Yeah, because she's not right. Even I'm sorry, Kaylee, but even I've noticed it, and I have defended you a few times, but you won't hear me doing it anymore. Not till you get help, and you come back as a fixed person. Yeah, and my
What are you on about now?
and my
Mine's legal.
legal department agrees he's a criminal. What?
Who's a criminal? Who? Who's he? We've not even been talking about a man, you dickhead.
What?
I
Who?
bet she's got to be talking about Danny, ain't she? Well, I tell you, one of these days, you're gonna regret it.
Oh, no, Mandy, never hide her love and never get rid of her comments. Let her comment away. Let her carry on. I don't want to add to her mental health problems. Because, if she was to be blocked or anything, it would obviously, you wouldn't it, Babs? It would get at her kind of thing. So I do not want, what's that? You literally
No,
just, Danny.
Danny wants me sectioned. Danny said, yes, but so have I. So have a lot of other people. Kaylee, you need help. If your friends over there aren't going to tell you that.
No.
You
Because
need
they're not
help.
friends. Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, this woman is crazy. When are you going to get the bus to Southampton to come and see me then, Kaylee? I'm luck with that. Silly bitch.
Southampton's a nice place, actually.
Yeah, I love it here. I do.
Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely place. I like Southampton.
Yeah. Big shopping centre. We've literally got every shop you can think of here. He told over 100 people he had spoken to them, and they said, I need sectioning. It's recorded, you silly.
Yeah. But that's not illegal, Kaylee. That what's saying it's not illegal. You can say that somebody needs to be sectioned, and in your case, it would do you a lot of good to spend 28 days in a psychiatric unit getting all the help you can.
Oh, yeah, 2 minutes, 4 minutes to midnight. Yeah, Happy New Year, Kaylee. My present to you, go and get help.
She'll never listen because
No. Because
people
she's
like
another
her don't.
narcissist.
Yes.
She does nothing wrong. Do you know what? I identify so much with these people like that because my ex-partner was a narcissist. I was
was
always
it?
the one in the wrong. Always the one in the wrong. So yeah. Right. Okay, is it New Year?
Is it New Year, Alice?
Just 20
4
let me have a look and see. Do they still do the speaking clock? Do you remember that?
Oh God, I remember. I don't know. It's 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Oh, it is definitely. Okay.
Well, all my watches and clocks in the house say 4 minutes.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll stick the
The computer's saying 23:57, so we've got 3 minutes now. And counting down. Oh yeah, Helen. When I was bored as a kid, I used to love ringing the speaking clock just to hear somebody talking on the phone.
Yep.
I don't know if they still do that. Yeah. The time at the next beep will be.
Is Wavy here?
Who?
Oh yeah. Hello, Wavy. Happy New Year, hun.
Is he here? Is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah. Happy New Year, baby. We're just waiting for the last few minutes, I guess.
Happy New Year, Plisco. Let's start the new year the way that we need to. We should be going on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in a minute's time, Jupiter will never be talking about anyone else.
Yeah, right. Okay. That is the biggest laugh of all.
Yeah, we're now officially at a minute, and it will be officially 2024. and Moon and Jupiter will be talking about nobody. They will be doing streams about the menopause.
Oh dear. How old is Moon? Do you know?
I've heard. I mean, apparently she's about 60, something like that.
Oh right, so those pictures that she puts up
Oh,
aren't her then.
They're not recent pictures, love. No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm not surprised. Did a disc was good, right? So, yep.
23,
he's
59, 23, 59. Just we're a minute away.
yeah, all the fireworks are going off outside mine already.
Are they? Oh,
I love
right.
it. So I do. Right. Well, Wendy, happy New Year. And
Happy
let's
New
hope
Year,
we have a good, productive year.
I hope so, love. Let's try and help each other and not get at each other.
Yep. Helen James, happy New Year, Han.
Right.
Alice, Robert, Cara, Mandy.
New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
And thanks for spending it here. And
yes.
Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me and Babs.
Yeah. No, it's been nice.
So,
yeah.
Coach Matt. Thank you.
Yep.
And Athena says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2024. May all have healthy, prosperous, much love, Athena.
Anybody that I've missed?
No.
Oh, Ghost is here. Happy New Year, Ghost.
Oh, Happy New Year, Ghost. Yeah, Happy New Year, Alice. Happy New Year, Mandy. Happy New Year, Roger. Happy New Year to everyone, and let's hope.
Yeah, Roger. Happy New Year, hun.
We go on. Good, decent
Pina
people.
Colada. Yep. Happy New Year.
Oh, Rubber Dub. Happy New Year, sweetheart. And Helen. Happy New Year. My dogs are going mad. Oh yeah, I do feel sorry for the dogs when the fireworks.
Yes. Oh yeah, my cat will be hiding. She won't like it at all.
Yeah, I do feel sorry for the animals.
Yeah. And that's why when this goes on, like, around like fireworks night, I have this every night for 2 weeks. And it's wrong. Shouldn't be allowed.
Night, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they're going off here now. Right, wonderful. Yeah, so all the people that are here for New Year, thank you very much. And I really hope that the next year is a happier and healthier one for us all. And obviously, we're going to have much better streams because we're not going to be spoken about. And that's a real plus. Yes.
Yeah, those fireworks in London, Ghost, that's Sadiq Khan, he's fucking charging people to go and watch them now. That was
really
yeah. That was always a free thing, wasn't it, Wendy?
Yeah.
Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. But hey,
I don't know why he keeps getting voted in as mayor.
I could.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh dear. But
Ghost's watching them on
the BBC.
Ghost says he's gonna have a word with them.
A word what?
Ghost says he's gonna have a word with Sadiq.
Oh right, okay. Good. Here's the start in 2024, Babs, on a good footing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
here's
exactly,
to you, Mandy, too. I said to Chantel and I had a chat yesterday, and we're fine. And it's good because I like Chantel. She's very knowledgeable.
She's very knowledgeable, but people don't give her the time to get her words out.
Yeah.
Babs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you do, you'll find out that she knows a lot about a lot,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I was listening to her about the animal activism. She
Yes.
followed the same thing as I did. The beagle one. Can't think where it is, but the beagle animal testing. I followed that for a while as
Oh,
well,
right.
and I was listening to her about that. They will charge us to breathe next. Yeah, you're right, Ghost.
Very true, Ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think they will. I think they will. So maybe our little friend has gone off to run over to, don't know,
Well, she's
see
gone off
her,
to tell
see
us to
her
sort,
other friends. We don't care though.
or she might be talking to her nettles, whatever. Or she could
Yeah.
even be making a video and tagging us in it, love. Yeah.
Oh
remember-
yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
next. Yeah, 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 yeah. Of course. Oh
It would be the two old slags.
Yep.
Won't leave me alone. They're trolling me.
And Babs dared to have an opinion.
Yes, dared
That
to have
would be the head. That would be the headline. Babs dared to have an opinion. Oh, fuck you, stupid bitch. Just you're not allowed. You know what I don't get with these people. I came on here. I was a bit naive. I said a couple of things about my personal life. I've certainly learned now
Yes.
not to do
Yeah.
that.
Not
But
to
when
do
I
it.
did say it, I can't go mental at people for having an
Remembering it.
opinion about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And she's exactly the same. She told everybody she lost her kids and whatever. Just don't get it.
Well, yeah, she made it public knowledge, so
Yep.
and people still, so it becomes, you can have your opinion on it. It's their own fault. But yeah, so it's finally 2024.
Yep.
I don't
And
know since what's the matter? I do hope this year is a good one. I'm looking at the fireworks on the TV, and yeah, I don't think they're that great, to be quite honest. I don't know what Ghost thinks, but they're not that spectacular. Oh, Happy New Year, Terry. I think Babs has gone on mute. I think somebody must have called her or something.
no, I'm back again now. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can
yeah.
hear
I
you, love,
was.
yeah.
I just had to. I had a message come through. I just had
I
to
thought
say.
as much. Yeah.
Being very horrible to hear. Yeah. First video from yeah, Mandy. It will be. So we have a bet. Who's going to be the first video of 2024?
It's got to be you. It'll be her tagging you.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. She's unbelievable. Babs dared to have an opinion.
Yeah. Oh, Shabops is here apparently, from what I can see.
Oh, is she?
Happy New Year, Shabops. I can't see it. It's just rubbers saying Happy New Year, Shabops. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Ghost. Your kids will enjoy them more. Definitely. Yeah. Happy New Year, Terry, darling. I was just saying that the fireworks down at London they're not that great. They're not as good as they used to be, I don't think.
What did he do in 2021? Was it when he did the the virtual signaling fireworks
Yeah.
over the O2 thing?
That's right.
That was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I wonder do you know how much he charges then? If they charge, do you know how much they charge?
I don't know. I didn't even look into it because I'm not. I wouldn't be interested.
No.
To be honest, the streets of London aren't safe.
No, they're not safe anymore, are they?
So yeah,
Did you see those Eritreans, those Eritrean people that have been rioting yesterday and everything in London?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Apparently they were attacking the police with sticks and stuff like that, and they were attacking each other, and the police just stood by and watched them.
oh God.
So yeah,
Happy New Year, Deborah, sweetheart. Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Purple Phil. Effect. Yeah. Yeah, that was bad. So no, you're right. The streets of London are no longer paved with gold,
no.
paved with blood half the time.
Well, they were all out again yesterday, the Palestinians.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, and you know, we do realise that when they actually realise that protesting is going to get them what they want, it's going to move on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, hopefully soon.
So yeah, I don't know, but I'm very happy at the moment. So yeah,
You're not getting as wound up about things now, about
no,
that. You know,
no,
it is what it is, and it'll disappear like everything else.
yeah,
And
I know, I
you know,
know.
everything moves on, Babs, and that's the way the life is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, life is too short to get stuck on one thing all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were in that little bubble over there, you must have got sick to death of listening about grooming gangs and all the rest of it. There's only so much you can take, Babs.
Do you know what? The one thing I got sick of hearing is those two words, nonces and paedophiles.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, really? Again? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just like, yeah.
Whereas one time, I can remember when those words would never be used.
I know.
Never
And
be
like
used.
I said, since I've not been going over there, I think the only time I heard it, like mentioned was when like they were doing that review on Hoaxed. I watched Luke's 3-part thingy bob, and then somebody did a review. Oh, I don't know, but yeah, that's the only time.
But even Luke, I noticed when he was doing that, he couldn't listen to the children, and either he had to skip that. He couldn't. Where I think them lot over there, they could happily listen to that and not switch it off. Whereas I couldn't. You said that you couldn't, and Luke certainly couldn't. But they're the ones.
These weirdos can.
Yeah, it's weird.
Terry, I don't know what look.
I wish you Happy New Year. I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's been trying to he's been trying to get my attention most of like the last hour. Like, I mean, we had a really bad falling out, and he said some really bad things about me.
Oh, right.
Obviously, we've all sort of like moved on and everything else. So, Terry, yes, Happy New Year.
And then he asks, would you say Jupiter and Hector's relationship is normal or a contract base?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard that he might have married her for a passport, but 20 years for a passport? A bit too long.
Yeah, to be quite honest, Terry, I don't care,
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I'm
not interested in other people's relationships.
No, I really don't care.
Happy New Year, Cara Han.
Oh, Happy New Year, Elsid. Oh, have I said Happy New Year to Plisco? No, I didn't. Happy New Year, Plisco. Bloody hell, that thing in London, the people there, it's absolutely crowded full.
Yeah. And I don't know. I would have gone years ago. I did go years ago,
Yeah,
but
as you get older, do you know
it's
what
the
I mean?
crowds, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a young person's thing, isn't it? Well, I think it is.
My daughter and her husband went to New York for New Year a couple of years ago, and they were like queuing up from the middle of the afternoon just to be where that what's that ball thing that drops and whatever.
Oh, in Times Square, you mean?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So cool. Be free, and now you have to buy tickets. Yeah, that Terry, you're right.
Yeah, you used to
They
just turn
started
up.
doing that a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, and people used to be able to dance in the Trafalgar, in the fountain, just in
Yep,
Trafalgar Square,
yep,
in the water and that. But I think that's all banned now for some odd reason.
yeah. I know. Cool. Right, I'm off to bed.
Yeah, same here, love. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well,
happy
thank you,
New Year,
Pam, for jumping
Wendy.
on, darling.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
and thank you because I think I needed that. I think I needed this. Do you know what I
Good.
mean? Yeah. It is what it all is. So okay,
Exactly. It's in
okay.
the past now, love.
Yep, it
Don't look
certainly
back. We're
is.
not. It's the old saying of "Don't look back." We're not going that way. Yeah. So yeah.
It's funny actually because just last thing I remember a couple of weeks ago I was saying something about well we were agreeing on something and I remember I wrote in there I know me and Wendy hate each other but you wrote back to me that's not true, don't you? And I was like I was a bit taken back but
Because
now
I don't hate you.
obviously
I never did.
yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm glad that things have worked out the way that they have. So cool.
So my love.
All right. Take care and I
You
will
take
speak.
care.
Yep. And I'll talk to you soon.
All
All
right,
right.
bye, darling.
Bye,
Good
Wendy.
night,
Bye.
love. Night. Right, guys. So happy New Year. Yeah, Times Square. What you saying? Yes, Times Square is such a changed everyone now. Searchers and snipers on the roof. Very sad. Exactly. The streets are not safe, unfortunately. But hopefully the people who were down there in London or up in Scotland with their hogmanay are having a good time. Bloody hell. The person they've got to entertain some crowds in London. What is Rick Ashley making a comeback of some sort? Because he's he's up there and he's singing. Old Rick Ashley, he must be making some sort of comeback. I don't know. He was all right in his time, but I mean, I don't know. Good luck to him, I suppose. So, good night, everyone, and thank you for being here. And let's hope 2024 is a nice, peaceful year. Good night to all my lovely friends.